Watching The Killer, a David Fincher movie, was a bit of an on and off experience for me. I have my valid reasons for that, and I'll discuss those throughout this video. Let's start. First off, let me tell you that I am a big admirer of David Fincher's work, be it Seven, Fight Club, Panic Room, Gone Girl, The Social Network, and even The Girl with the Dragon's Tattoo. I loved each and every one of these films, and I know if you have seen any David Fincher movie, at least 2 David Fincher movies, you would definitely agree with me that his each and every frame has a distinct look, and his storytelling features deception heavily. He generally uses those yellow colors. In Seven, we saw him using pitch dark themes everywhere. His each and every film has a different look, but mainly he uses those yellow lights which gives it a very different hue. I know I'm not describing it correctly, but you know what I mean, right? If you have seen any David Fincher movie, you would recognize that. But yeah, coming back to the story element, each David Fincher movie has kind of a deception, one element in it. His entire story, his entire screenplay is quite difficult to follow. It's not that straightforward. It is not as easy to, keep track of things, the motives of the characters. It is not always crystal clear. Like for example, Fight Club. I remember when I first watched Fight Club, that particular scene where the entire twist happens, I was very shocked, because the entire movie we were led into a certain direction, and that one plot point just shifted it entirely, and it gave it a very different dynamic. I remember I was just shocked about it. Anyways, but this is what you generally get in a David Fincher movie. But as you know, The Killer was very different. The story was very straightforward to follow. The motives of the character were also very clear, very crystal clear, and there were very little surprises throughout the movie. We know what type of the killer, the person the killer is, and what he was going to do throughout the movie. We knew that altogether, so that's why the surprise element kind of took a hit. But still, I would say the ending was a bit surprising, because our killer didn't complete the kill, but throughout the movie we saw that he gives no mercy to anyone. He just kills everyone. So that was a bit of surprising for me. Now let me tell you what I really liked about this movie. I really liked how it was shot. Now look at this scene in particular.
Give or take. My population is approximately 7.8 billion.
Whenever we are looking from the point of view of the killer, we hear the music because the character is hearing the music, and as soon as we change the point of view, it is made to feel like the music is in the background somewhere playing, but not directly through our ears, because our point of view was changed. And this was done throughout this movie a number of times, and music was an integral part of the character's personality as well, because at the start also he says that music helps him to focus, and this was one of his traits, to kill people. Now this is a very clever way to add substance in the scene as well, where not a lot is going on, because instead of making the scene flat, this adds one more dimension to the scene, and there were many instances like this throughout the movie as well. Let me talk about this fight scene. This fight scene was so superb, and I'll tell you why. This scene clearly shows the different dynamics of these two people who are fighting. This guy is a big guy, he is a giant guy who uses brute force, whereas our killer is a small sleek guy just like me, and our killer knows that he cannot knock the opponent out with his force. So what he does? He uses his surroundings. Our killer cleverly uses his surroundings to pack a punch on the big guy. This again shows how sharp our killer is. This is also so crucial in setting up our killer's personality as a whole. To be honest, now that I think about why I did not enjoy this movie as much as I enjoyed other David Fincher movies, comes down to David Fincher and me. David Fincher has set his bar so high in his deceptive storytelling that I was searching for that deception in the story, the entire story. I was looking for that integrated story in this movie rather than focusing on what was presented to me. Actually, my preconceived thought of how this movie should be, or it should have been like a David Fincher movie that was playing in my mind, resulted in my experience not being as good as my experience was with other David Fincher movies. I should have taken this movie as it is rather than expecting a David Fincher trait which was deception in the story. So I was at the fault as well. So I would say I overall liked the movie, I overall enjoyed the movie, I overall enjoyed the details it was presented. I definitely loved the cinematography of the movie. I definitely enjoyed the acting of Michael Fassbender. But overall, I was let down by the straight and simple story, which I would have enjoyed if I hadn't gone into the movie looking for that deceptive story. I will definitely going to rewatch this movie in a short while. But that's it, here are my thoughts about this movie. Tell me in the comments what you think about this David Fincher movie as well, and thank you so much for watching.